Good morning, Bobcats, and happy Tuesday. I hope you all are well this morning. Today is Tuesday, April the 14th, and it is 2020. Here's a look at our weather forecast for today. Now, today's high will be 75 and it will be 57 degrees the low. Today's going to be a great day to do some things inside. Checked off your list. Maybe if you're a Bobcat, you want to go in and clean up your room today without being told to do that. Maybe snuggle up with a good book to read when you're not working on your schoolwork, because we are going to have a 70 to 90% chance of rain for most of today, starting probably shortly after the news goes out this morning. So get ready for that. We're going to have rain throughout all of today and actually into tomorrow. But then on Thursday, it promises to bring us some sunshine and beautiful weather then. So we'll all be ready to get outside on Thursday. Please stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated, Bobcats. Thank you so much for joining me in that every day. So we won't be eating in the lunchroom today. So what's for lunch at your house? So this is what I'm going to ask of you. Ms. Young's been giving out challenges for a couple weeks for lunch, and how fun has it been to see the pictures that you've sent in. I tell you what, if I could go out and knock on some of your doors and show up for lunch, Toby and I would be right there, because you guys have some yummy lunches. So this is, I'm going to put out a challenge. I think about like America's Funniest Home Videos, how they put challenges out. Now, this is what I want you to do. I want you to start maybe one day recording you making your lunch, a 2 or 3 minute video, and send it to Miss Young at youngk@leonschools.net. This is for our students. This is for our teachers, our paras, our principals, anybody who is watching that would like to send us a video of maybe you making a special recipe or you putting together your lunch. You can send it to me, and then I will start sharing those on the news during this segment. And so I'm excited. I hope that you will send those in. Now, if you send it in to me today, friends, that does not mean it's going to be on tomorrow, okay? Miss Young will save all those and start to share those with our friends. So I'm eager to see Miss Young for the very first time in a month. That's a true story. Went and got lots of good, healthy, fresh fruit and vegetables yesterday. So I'm excited to make myself a good, healthy lunch. So I want to see what you're cooking. So if you'll just send those to me at youngk@leonschools.net, you can write in the subject line, what's for lunch? Send me a 2 or 3 minute video and we'll start to get those out. Have you got to vote yet? You know, I started yesterday. I'm going to share a few of the Sunshine State Junior books with you. But if you have not voted yet for your favorite Sunshine State book and you read at least 3 of those books, I want you to ask your parents to find that email so you can vote for your favorite Sunshine State or Sunshine State Junior book, because our votes all count into the whole state of Florida. So if you're here in Tallahassee and you have cousins in Panama City, or you have cousins down in Orlando, they will also be voting, and then they will announce what the most favorite Sunshine State book was for this year. And then on the 23rd, which is always an exciting day, they will announce the books for next year. So find that email and vote. I'm going to look today and see if anybody voted. Here's a few jokes to tickle your funny bone about weather, since we're going to have some interesting weather today. Are you ready? How does the rain tie its shoe? With a rainbow. Get it? A rainbow, like you tie your shoe in a bow. What did one raindrop say to the other? Two's company. Three's a cloud. Like three's a crowd. I can hear you laughing. I know that's a little bit corny, but what happens, this one's for Toby and all of the four-legged friends, what happens when it rains cats and dogs? You might step in a poodle, not a puddle, but a poodle. What goes up when the rain comes down? This is easy. You should get this one. Are you ready? An umbrella. Okay, one more. Why was the lightning bolt in the news? Are you sure you want to know? Because it's shocking. You get it? It's shocking, like the lightning bolt. Have you sent a smile yet to our neighbors at Tapestry? Remember, you can draw a picture. You could create something out of Play-Doh or Legos, any form of art. Get your parents to snap a picture. Send it to Miss Valentine at capital BLES run@gmail.com. And Miss Valentine is going to send those over to our friends at the Tapestry Senior Living Center, which is probably close to where a lot of you live if you live over off of Walden. So Miss Valentine will get those. She will send those off and they will share those with our friends there. What a smile you could bring to somebody. So speaking of spreading smiles, what a wonderful story. I got straight from my friend, Miss Lewis, who was evidently up way too late last night, Miss Lewis. Now, she shared a story, and I had to go ahead and share it with you. It was actually in the Tallahassee Democrat, it looked like, and it involves some of our Bobcats. So, you know, our special area teachers have been giving assignments. Some of them are required, but there's still lots and lots of fun, right? So in art, you're supposed to do a portrait this week. For media, ours are all optional. You don't have to do them, but just a fun idea was to do a story with your family. We've done it in the library where you each add a word to the story, right? And so Miss Perez had given a challenge out to her students, some of her students, which was what could you do to help your community during this time? What a simple question, but a great question. And one of our Bobcats, Jacob Mayfield, answered that question in a really big way, guys. So Jacob, both his mom and dad work in the medical field. So he researched and created a mask, right? He used a pattern that he came across and modified it some from the best that I understand. And what he did was he did a lot of research. He found out what the best material would be, what was available. And so he located good material, good design, and he made like a prototype of a mask to share, because as you know, that's one of the things we really need. When Miss Young went out for the first time yesterday, I had a mask on. When I went to the school just to pick up a last things, I had my mask on. So what's happening now is because Jacob created this mask, found out the best kind of material, there are at the Southeastern Plastic Surgery Center, which already does a lot of good for people. They are sewing masks that are helping people all over, healthcare workers all over, not only Tallahassee, but now they're being sent to other places. So we are so proud of you, Jacob, and thank you, Ms. Perez, for just asking what seems like a very simple question, and Jacob came up with a great answer that's impacting lots of people. So Jacob, way to go. We are so proud of you. Parents, just a reminder, I referenced myself going up to school real quick yesterday. As of now, you may not drop packets off at the school. Okay, the last day was yesterday. Mr. Millard has been so great at sending out information. If you have any questions, feel free to email him. He's also put out a phone number where you're able to reach the office if you need to. So do not hesitate. We are here for you and happy to answer questions. So watch for more information, guys. Next week, I'm going to share a fun little contest that's completely optional, but it's gonna be, I think, really neat to share. It'll probably be my activity that I share for you for a media special area. So I'm super excited, and I'm even gonna offer out a couple of prizes too. So that will be. I love a contest. I love prizes. I love our Bobcats. I love books. So we are going to be something I think you will be excited about. Cookie Dough says he's excited about it. At the end of this week, we're going to have a pet parade for our faculty and staff. So they're sending me pictures in of their pets. You're going to be really surprised. We don't just have dogs and cats, which we'd love dogs and cats, but we have some tiny pets, our teachers and faculty and staff, and we have some very big ones. So I think you're going to be excited. And then next week, let's do a student pet parade, right? So I've already seen some really cute puppies out there and kitty cats. And so next week, we're going to give you a chance to send in pictures, and we'll have a student, a Buck Lake family pet parade. So you'll be able to send in your pictures. So I think they make us happy, so we might as well share some of them. You can't see right now, but Toby is fast asleep over there. That's all for today for WBLS. Bobcats, remember to purr, be prepared, be upstanding, be responsible and respectful. And in case we don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Look who decided to join me for story time. He's not that excited. I guess if I had chosen a dog book, he might be more excited. But I chose Prince Ribbit. This is another Sunshine State Junior. I'll read a total of 4. And then if you haven't got to read any of them before, you could choose your favorite of these 4. So, Prince Ribbit. I know a lot of friends out there who like frogs. The Princess and the Frog Prince got married and lived happily ever after, read Princess Arabella, closing the book with a satisfied sigh. Princess Lucinda frowned. That silly girl treated the Frog Prince so badly. She was lucky he even married her. If I ever met a talking frog, I wouldn't make the same mistake, agreed Arabella. Oh, how many of you think maybe she's now going to meet one? I think you might be right. Princess Martha rolled her eyes. She liked facts more than fairy tales and real frogs more than enchanted ones. She had heard a real frog croaking in the royal pond many times, but she could never spot him. He's a clever little thing, thought Martha. Martha was right. The frog was very clever indeed. He often listened in on the sister stories, and the more he heard of the prince and princesses, the more he longed to live just like them. The frog dreamed of sleeping in a soft bed, eating fine foods, and wearing a beautiful crown, and he had just come up with a cunning plan to make his dreams come true. Ah! Go away, you slimy little beast, shrieked Arabella and Lucinda as the frog hopped out in front of them. But the frog did not go away. Instead, he cleared his throat and spoke. Allow me to introduce myself, said the shy frog. My name is Prince Ribbit. Arabella and Lucinda. You know what? Miss Young has to rewind on that a little bit. I should have put my glasses on. I said the shy frog. Guess what? He wasn't shy. Guess what he was? He was sly. He was a sly. That means he's kind of sneaky. So that kind of changes the whole meaning. Allow me to introduce myself, said the sly frog. My name is Prince Ribbit. Arabella and Lucinda stared open-mouthed, but Martha was delighted. It's a frog, she shouted, a talking frog. Actually, I am an enchanted prince, he said. A jealous wizard turned me into a frog because I am so astonishing handsome. If only there was a way to break the spell. But there is, cried Lucinda. It's in this book. You just need to be looked after by a pretty princess like me. Or a pretty princess like me, said Arabella, and then you'll turn back into your old, astonishingly handsome self, and we can live happily ever after. That's a mouthful for Miss Young this morning. Lucinda and Arabella took Prince Ribbit back to the palace and gave him whatever he wanted. Lucinda let him sleep on her pillow, while Arabella let him eat from her plate. But the more Princess Martha saw of the frog, the more suspicious she became. Why are you making such a fuss of him? She asked Prince Ribbit. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. Why are you making such a fuss of him? She asked as Prince Ribbit hopped around the dinner table. Miss Young must be getting out of practice, huh? Because he's an enchanted prince, said Arabella, and that's how you break the spell. Just because it's in a book doesn't mean it's true. And with that, she went to the royal library to look up the truth about frogs. A mother frog lays eggs, she explained to her sisters, and then the eggs turn into tadpoles, and the tadpoles turn into frogs. But frogs don't ever turn into princes. Just because it's in a book doesn't mean it's true, replied her sisters. So Lucinda and Arabella continued to pamper Prince Ribbit. They let him sleep in the biggest, softest bed. That looks like Toby sleeping up in our bed. And gave him the finest clothing and a beautiful new crown. Martha was the only person who saw Prince Ribbit for what he really was. You may be clever, but you're just an ordinary frog. Just because it's in a book doesn't mean it's true, said Prince Ribbit. He's kind of sassy. But sassy. This is hopeless, thought Martha. My sisters will never believe me, no matter how many books of facts I show them. That's a nonfiction book, right? But I suppose I'm just as stubborn. I've never read their storybooks before. Maybe I should. So Martha gathered a big pile of fairy tales and began to read them. She was surprised to find that while the stories might not be true, they were often funny, exciting, and inspiring. And after Martha had read them all, she knew exactly what to do with Prince Ribbit. If you're really an enchanted prince, why hasn't the spell been broken yet? Martha asked Prince Ribbit the next morning. Prince Ribbit shifted uneasily in his little golden throne and adjusted his little golden crown. Perhaps it's because I have not been treated well enough, he suggested. You seem very well treated to me, said Martha. I think it's time to try something different. What's the one thing that will always break an evil spell? A true love's kiss, cried Arabella and Lucinda. Me first, said Arabella, planting a big wet smacker on Prince Ribbit's clammy cheek. You don't love him as much as I do, said Princess Lucinda, snatching the frog from her sister and squashing his face in a passionate smooch. Mwah! But no matter how many kisses they gave him, Prince Ribbit remained very much a frog. And in the end, both princesses realized that this was all he had ever been and all he would ever be. I suppose I should go back to my pond, sighed the frog, taking off his beautiful crown. But he looked so sad that Martha could not help feeling sorry for him. Please don't go, she said. Any animal smart enough to fool my sisters would be fun to have around, And while I might not want a handsome prince as a husband, I would love to have a clever frog as a friend. She picked up the frog and gave him a gentle kiss. The instant Martha kissed him, a huge puff of pink smoke appeared, and the frog turned into a handsome young prince. In fact, he was so handsome that Martha decided she did want to marry him after all, and so she fell into his arms, and they both lived what? Happily ever after. And if that's not the ending you were expecting, then remember, just because it's in a book doesn't mean it's true. What a fun story. It didn't really end the way we thought it. So that was Prince Ribbit. This is a Sunshine State Junior book. Feel free to join me the next 2 days, and I'll share 2 more of our Sunshine State books. We hope you have a great, great day, and we'll see you tomorrow, Bobcats.